name is Matt Goldberg. I'm also on the negative side of gay marriage, and I'm going to propose the disadvantages of gay marriage. And there's three main disadvantages. One is that gay marriage will cost taxpayers more money, that gay marriage can harm families, schools, and churches, and that gay marriage can lead to other types of immoral marriages. So first I'm going to talk about how gay marriage will cost taxpayers money. And one of the main reasons for that is because the disease rate among homosexuals are much higher than heterosexuals. And to support that, I have some statistics from the Center for Disease Control. And one is that homosexual men made up 65% of the reported primary and secondary syphilis cases in 2007. And homosexual men with HIV are 90% more likely to develop anal cancer than the rest of the population. And that men, and actually there's a study in Wisconsin where about HIV/AIDS in Wisconsin, and they found out that 52.2% of the HIV infections were from men who had sex with men, and 6.9% were from men who had sex with men and inject drugs, and 12% of that was from heterosexual male-female contact. So, obviously, if we approve gay marriage, then if the spouse has Medicare or Medicaid, then that will also cover their new spouse or their new partner, and so that means that would end up costing us, the taxpayers, more money. So, and also the second reason for this is because divorce rates are much higher among homosexuals. And in Sweden, they did a study where there was actually a 50%, or they did a study, and it was gay male couples are 50% more likely to divorce than heterosexual couples, and lesbian couples were 167% more likely to divorce. And the economist Ben Scafidi found that single parent and family dissolution cost California taxpayers $4.8 billion a year. So obviously, if we legalize gay marriage, then there would be a much higher increase in divorce rates, and because of that, we would need more judges, and there would be much more court cases, and that would end up costing us, once again, the taxpayers, more money. So, and now I'm going to talk about how gay marriage would harm families, schools, and churches. First, I'm going to talk about how it'll harm schools, and that's because in the CNS News they published that in some high schools there's already, in some schools there's already books depicting families with same-sex couples, and this isn't a good thing because, if this eventually makes its way to if homosexual couples actually make their way to the sex education classes, then that wouldn't be right, because sex education is supposed to be about the reproductive organs and the ways of reproduction, and homosexuality has nothing to do with that. So, yeah. And then also gay marriage would harm churches, because there's actually a lawsuit in New Jersey where a lesbian couple wanted to use a Methodist church's private retreat or private campground, and the church denied them to use it. So the lesbian couple sued him, and this isn't right, because in a way that's trying to force the churches to go outside of their beliefs and outside of their religion and allow the lesbian couple to use that private retreat in order to have what they said a civil union ceremony. So, yeah. And then also gay marriages would harm families, because in Denmark, gay marriage has been legal for many years now. And actually, since it's been legal, they did a study, and 60% their firstborn children in Denmark, 60% of firstborn children in Denmark had unmarried parents. And obviously, that's not a good thing, because when a kid's growing up and he only has one mom or one dad, there's actually been many studies where the kid is more likely to, become a criminal or not do good in school and other things like that. And also the legalization of gay marriage would urge the process of other types of immoral marriages. And one of the reasons for that is that gay marriage could eventually lead to polygamy, because Brigham Young University actually did a study, and it showed that 30,000 to 50,000 people live a polygamous lifestyle in the U.S. And if we legalize gay marriage, then those couples might, well, I guess you can really call it a couple, but those people who are involved in polygamy would end up saying, hey, they can get married, so why can't we? And actually, in Canada, gay marriage is legal up there. So there was one man who actually sued because they wouldn't let him marry his two wives, and his lawyer actually said this to the court. He said, if homosexuals can marry, what is the reason that public policy says one person can't marry more than one person? And obviously, so gay marriage could lead to other types of immoral marriages, such as, and it's not just polygamy, it could also lead to, other types of marriage, because, gays aren't the only ones with restrictions when it comes to marriage, such as like a parent cannot marry their child, and they can't marry, two or more spouses, and they cannot marry the husband or wife of another person. So if we legalize gay marriage, then that could eventually lead to other types of immoral marriages, kind of creating this snowball effect. So.